Hey there. So, how long does it take to be successful in network marketing? We get this question a lot. We get it a whole lot. And I remember asking when I first got started, and we get it from people who are brand new. Okay. They're like, well, how long is this going to take? Like, how long is it going to take me to experience success? But we also get it from people who have been in for maybe many, many years. And they're like, you know what? If I just missed the boat, like, where am I going wrong? Been in for years and I'm not experiencing any success. So what do I need to do? Well, here's the good news. Even if you've been struggling in network marketing, you can experience success, okay? And today, in this episode, we are going to share once and for all how long it takes to create a successful network marketing business. And we're going to give you some top tips to even help you get there faster.
Hey there, y'all. I'm Jordan Maley, and I'm here today with my mom and business partner, Kathy Schneider. Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee with K&J. We come to you guys live every single week at 11 a.m. Eastern for coffee and free coaching to help you grow your network marketing business. For those of you who may not know us, we are a mother-daughter team. We help driven network marketers like you with the simple strategies to grow your business quickly online without confusion and overwhelm. And we come to you guys live every single week with new episodes just like this one. And if you're over on our new YouTube channel, we want to encourage you to become a subscriber so that you never miss an episode. And underneath the descriptions, or in the description if you're on YouTube, and then I'm going to pop this up on the screen. There we go. If you're watching on Facebook, you'll see it across the bottom of your screen. We provide a full recap of every single episode and a free downloadable resource that you can use to get more out of what we cover live over at globalfreedomcommunity.com/57. So today we're going to be talking about how long does it really take to grow a network marketing business? Like, how long until I'm successful? And as you're coming on, we'd love for you guys to say hello. Let us know you're here. Let us know you're watching. We'd love to interact with those of you who are on live. So let's jump in and get going.
Absolutely. So we always like to start with a quote. Any War and Peace fans out there? I've not read this book, but I have heard wonderful things about it. Anyone out there? I just drop it in the comments if you've ever read this.
I've tried, and as much as I read, man, that thing, it's like this thick, and I've heard it takes like 300 or 400 pages to get good. So
yeah, exactly. Well, but I thought this was a great quote. It's not something I've read, but when I was looking for a quote to go with this, it just went hand in hand. And I thought this was so good. Sometimes I feel like a warrior. As a network marketer, do you ever feel like a warrior? Do you feel like Absolutely. So I thought this was so good. The two most powerful warriors, okay, are patience and time, okay? And we're going to talk about those two things today. You got to have patience, but also it takes time. But we're going to give you some tips on how you can kind of fast forward that time, okay? But you're still going to have the patience. And I want you to think of that as you're going through all of this. Think of it as, okay, I'm a warrior. I can do this. I can handle this. I got it. You know what? Like I'm going to conquer. And so I think this was just a really fun quote, but yet it really gets the point across.
Absolutely. And good morning, Carolyn. Good morning. Those of you who are saying hi on Facebook, we can't always see your name. So if we don't see your name, just know we see your comment, and we appreciate you guys being here, and we appreciate you chiming in. So, all right, let's talk about how long it really takes to build a successful network marketing business. Have you ever asked that question, or have you ever had maybe a prospect ask you, or a team member, or maybe you've been around a while and you're just like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why is this taking me so long? I thought they said this thing could go fast, and I feel like I'm going so slow. Good morning, Angel. Good to see you here. So we're going to talk about that today. And we put together a really cool illustration for you guys. And this might seem a little weird before we get into the episode, but the reason we created this free download for you guys, it's called our Be Here illustration chart. And this is an illustration that our mentor shared with us way back in the day when we first got started in network marketing. And it's the same illustration that we share with our personal team members at every single live event that we go to. All right. So in fact, if you're on our team, hey, Michelle, great to see you here. If you're on our team and you've been to one of our live events, you might remember, sitting around all those tables at the Italian restaurant, or huddling in the back corner of a room sometimes. I think we've done it in the hotel lobby. I think we've done it in an elevator once. We love to share this illustration, okay? We have literally drawn it on the back of napkins. We've drawn it on the back of receipts. And then sometimes we come a little more prepared and we have like a workbook for people and stuff. But the idea is we make sure we don't let anybody ever leave our event without seeing this illustration. Hey there, Casper from Malta, Christina from Portugal. Man, we got the international crowd here today. That's awesome. I love it. So you definitely want to go grab this illustration, because what it shows you guys is how, by simply remaining actively involved in your business, you can go from where you are right now to the tip top of your business, the tip top of your company, faster than you might think. Okay. And it's just an illustration showing how that happens. And it'll make a little more sense as we go through this episode today. So let's jump in. Let's get started. Mom, how long does it take to be successful in network marketing?
Well, let me share a quick story. You know what? I tell you what, this is what's so cool. This is a story that our mentor shared with us. And this was, like Jordan said, way back in the early days. And the story went something like this, probably not these exact words, but basically, when someone says, well, so how long have you been in your business? What do most people say? Oh, I've been in a year. I started April of 2018. Or, oh, I started back in January of 2012. I've been in 8 years, or whatever. They go to the date that they signed the enrollment, okay? The date that they actually enrolled, ordered their starter pack, their starter kit, whatever it's called in your company. But it's like the day that they actually enrolled, and they go, that's the day I got started. To them, it's like, and I've even seen people celebrate like their 1-year anniversary, their 3-year anniversary. And it's always tied back to the day that they actually enrolled, okay? I've even heard people say, oh, I got started yesterday, right? Okay. Well, guess what? That may seem appropriate, but that's not the right answer. I know. I hate to tell you that, but this is going to really blow your mind. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to let Jordan explain a little bit of this to you, but I'm going to tell you why. Hey, Alicia, great to see you here. So yeah, I want you to know that that's not the answer. So when someone asks you, when did you get started? And really more than anything, when you're answering to yourself. Okay. When you're answering to yourself. And the cool thing about this that you're going to love is you get to determine your start date, and it can be today, okay? I don't care if you enrolled 5 years ago, okay? It can be today. You can start today with what we're going to share, and it's going to make such a difference.
All right. So if you're kind of going, okay, ladies, y'all sound like you're talking crazy talk. I started 3 years ago. I've been in the business 3 years. Right? What we're about to share is really going to blow your mind. Okay. So our mentor, like my mom said, shared this story with you, and we've never forgotten it, because it's really one of those things. It's a major mindset shift in your business and how you look at your business. It will help your confidence, and it will help you really evaluate how long and maybe why you haven't been maybe you feel like you've been in too long and you haven't gotten the results. This is going to explain it and help you fix it. Okay. So let's say you've got 2 consultants, right, who sign up on the same day. And I'm just going to use Mom's birthday. Okay. March 7th. They signed up on March 7th. Their start date is the same. Okay. And both have been told, okay, this is a 3-year plan, right? You want to work your business for 3 years. Once you've been in the business 3 years, you'll have reached your income. Has anyone ever told you something like that? Maybe it's a 4-year plan. Maybe it's a 5-year plan. Has anyone ever said, oh, it'll only take you 90 days. It'll only take you 5 years. You can do in 4 years what most people can't do in 40 years, right? So we've all said those things. We've all heard those things. But what's the problem? If you have 2 people, let's call them David and Mary. Okay, let's call them David and Mary. David and Mary both sign up on March 7th. If you check in on David and Mary 3 years from now, do you think they will have experienced the same results They've been in the exact same amount of time. Hey, Saylin, great to see you here. They've been in the exact same amount of time. Do you think 3 years from now, they will have experienced the same results? Probably not, right? We know people who've been in the business 3 years who are, millionaires at this point. We know people who have been in the business 3 years who've never brought in a single team member. I'll tell you, it took me 3.5 years to earn my first comma check with my business. It took me another 1.5 years after that to feel confident enough to go full time. All right. So I was not the 3-year plan kind of girl. Mom, you weren't either. You were in 5 years before you even found a company that you felt like you could really lock arms and run with long term, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, that's the difference, right? So it's not about how long. What it's really about is how many.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the length of time that you've been in your business has absolutely nothing to do with how successful you should be. Instead, it comes down to how many. How many days have you reviewed your vision, your goals, your affirmations? How many books on personal and professional development have you read? How many audio trainings have you listened to help you learn the skills that it's going to take you to help you be successful? How many courses have you taken? How many events have you been to? How many invitations have you made? How many presentations have you given? And, how many people have you enrolled? Right? So all of those things, the invitations, the presentations, the classes, the events, the books, that's going to determine how many customers you enroll, how many people you personally sponsor into your business, how many team members your organization has grown into. And that number is going to determine your income on a monthly basis. So you could be in 3 years and do nothing, or you could be in 3 weeks and do a lot. And it has nothing to do with how long you've been in. It has to do with how many. So we're going to talk about how you stay actively involved, right? So what it comes down to is how long have you been actively involved? Meaning, how long have you been consistently doing those activities that we just mentioned? And that's what is going to determine your success, okay? So let's talk about what those activities are. Let's talk about maybe some numbers, give you a couple of examples.
Yeah, before we jump into that, I really want to emphasize something. When I think back to the time when everything changed for me, okay? And I think back to that, like that day, okay? From that day going forward. Of course, I didn't know that day that was the day it was changing, okay?
Right.
But when I looked back, I could say, oh, you know what? This is kind of when everything changed. You know when that was? It was when I decided I was going to be a student. I was going to be coachable. I was going to always, always, always be reading a book or 2 or 3. I was going to be taking a course. I was going to be attending a webinar or something on a consistent basis. But not only was I going to read that book, take that course, do those things, I was going to implement what I learned. And I remember buying that first course so well and being so nervous about it. But guess what? That led, and I really thought, if I could just get this one course, this will be it. No, that's not how it works. I can't even count the number of courses I've bought, the number of webinars I've attended, the number of events I've attended. If you could see my bookshelves over here, I mean, I can't even, I don't even know. I'm sure there's hundreds of books on my bookshelves, and I've read almost every one of them. I've got 2 right here that I'm reading currently right now, plus these back here that are on my list to read. I mean, like this is, I've always, but I don't just sit on the couch and read all day, okay? I have a period of time that I decide, I'm going to read and I'm going to get my personal and professional development in, and then I'm going to get to work. I've got things, I've got activities I've got to do. So I want to emphasize the personal and professional development. And I want you to know that when you invest in those books and you invest the time in the courses and you invest that energy and time and money, if you will implement what you're learning, it will come back and pay you multiple times more than what your investment is. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I just want to emphasize the importance of personal and professional development. Who in this chat right now, if you're watching this, I want you to drop that you believe that being a reader makes a difference. If you believe
you're a learner, you don't have to read. You can do an audio.
Oh, well, you can be audio. Yeah. Doesn't have to be consumed by reading, actually. In fact, I listen to audios much more than I actually read the books. Okay. So just the importance of personal and professional development. I really believe that that is such a big part of what we do that we really want to emphasize that. So like Jordan said,
I'll answer this question really quickly. You know, she said maybe at a different time you could share how you arrange your daily, weekly schedule to allow you to read a couple of books at a time. All right. And all we'll share on that is, you know, because I've got multiple books I'm reading at a time always as well. And so typically what I do is I will either, if it's a day where I have time, I might read a chapter of one book in the morning and another one like during my lunch break or in the afternoon, right? I love to sit down on the front porch at like 3:00 in the afternoon and just read 10 pages of a book. It's just like a good mental reset. I know mom likes to go for a walk and listen to Audible. So a lot of times I'll have one book I'm listening to on Audible and then one that I am reading. And so I just bounce back and forth, right? It's not necessarily one of my things, like I made it a goal to read a certain number of books this year. And what I found is it helped me be more intentional with how I spend my downtime. Because when I watch TV, I have a tendency, it doesn't energize me. It doesn't get me excited. It doesn't get me pumped up. But when I read a book, it's very rejuvenating. I usually feel very refreshed. And so I've found little pockets in my day where I might sit and scroll Facebook or, you know, sit on Google and look up random articles on stuff or watch a quick TV show where instead I pick up a book. And I found that has helped me really, really make more time for reading and balance reading multiple books at a time. So yeah, absolutely. Personal development, huge impact in any field, but especially network marketing, because, you know, we don't know how to be entrepreneurs when we come into this business, right? We have no idea. And so we end up coming into this business and, you know, we have to treat it. I was just talking to a team member about this the other day. You got to think of it like you're getting your college degree. But the cool thing is you get to earn while you learn, which is really, really cool. So let's talk about how to become and remain actively involved in your business. Okay. And we're going to go back to our example of David and Mary. Both have been in business for 3 years. Okay. They both started on March 7th, but but you check in on them 3 years from now and David is making no money. And Mary has recently quit her job and gone full time. What's the difference? What happened with David and Mary, Mom? I'll just ask you, and you can tell me, like David and Mary, how many days did they each go over their goals? Did they go over their vision? Did they review their affirmations?
You know, it's really sad. David, he only did that some days. Like, you know, he did it some days when he could just like, I don't know, work it in or when he remembered. Wasn't really intentional about it.
Guys, like these are not real. We're not like talking crap about a guy named David. This is a totally made up person. So,
but it's realistic in that it's real examples in life. And I mean, it's real examples even for a period of time for me and a period of time for Jordan on both ends. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I've been a David and I've been a Mary, right?
Yeah,
and I think all the periods where we've been a David and we've been a Mary. So anyway, I just wanted to throw out that little disclaimer in case somebody was hopping on kind of like late or something and they missed the intro. I wanted to clarify, we're not throwing David under the bus, okay? So anyway, continue, Mom.
No, and we're not throwing men under the bus. This just David happens to be the one. So David just did it some days. Mary, she did it most days, okay? She like very seldom missed. So almost every day for 3 years, Mary went over her goals. She went over her vision. She went over her affirmations, which means she had those things in a format of some sort where they were there. Okay. She had her goals written down. She had her vision board, or she had a vision video, and she had her affirmations written down, or she wrote her affirmations out every day and, you know, repeated them. So I think it's important to emphasize these weren't just things in her head. Like she has a system for actually doing those things. What I like to do, I've got mine in a folder, and everything's right in here. I've had the same folder for so long. I don't even know. It's like, the only reason it's not tattered is because it's like plastic. If it were paper, it would be really a mess. And I call it my AM routine. Okay, so it's my morning routine, and I can just take it on trips with us. I take it wherever we go, and it's got my goals, my affirmations, and then my vision video is on my phone. I can just go to that and watch it. So yeah, okay. So David, some days, Mary, not Mary, me days. What about books, Jordan? So how many books on like personal and professional development has David read versus?
David read that one once.
Mm.
Remember, he read that one book that one time that his sponsor told him to read right when he got started. He was really excited, really fired up. So he read that one. I don't know if he finished it, but he definitely started it. Right. But Mary read a book every single month.
For 3 years.
For 3 years. So she read 36 books in the last 3 years. What it's done for her skill set and even more her mindset, her beliefs. Holy moly, total transformation.
Well, and I think if I remember right, some
like 10 pages a day, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, and what's really interesting is some of those books, they weren't always a new title. Sometimes she had a couple of books in there that she repeated every year.
Mm-hmm.
So she, which we even emphasize that it's like it's not always doing something new, but it's always filling your mind with the material. And there are certain books and certain courses I know that we personally repeat and we go back to. And every time we go back and listen, this book in particular is one that I don't even know how many times I've read and listened to it. Like I was reading this book before I even knew Audible existed. Maybe Audible didn't exist. I don't even know when Audible came out. But I have read this book so many times. I've got so many things noted in it. I've had paper clips and pages turned down. I mean, I've had this since I want to say since 2003 is when I first got this book. And I'm actually listening to it right now again on Audible. And it's just, I'm hearing things. I'm like, I don't remember that from before. so good.
So, and speaking of Audible, audios, right? So in addition to reading her books every single day, reading 10 pages a day, what was the difference? What did David and Mary do as far as listening on Audible?
Yeah, that's what David didn't tune in. He just never really got that set up. He doesn't have any CDs. He didn't ever set up Audible. He just, so his number is, well, I know, but I'm saying depending back, I still have CDs that
you have a CD player. That's the question. I've got CDs. I was thinking about that today. My car doesn't have one. My laptop doesn't have one. My computer doesn't have, I have no way to play my CDs. Isn't that crazy? So
I'm going to show this. Someone's asking. I don't know if I can get it on the screen. There we go. The Magic of Thinking Big.
Yes.
Really good book. Yeah. So, well, I have an old CD. I have a Bose player in my office. That's the only time. And then
I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing you.
Yeah. No, but I was going to say the only things I listen to on CDs, I don't purchase CDs anymore. There are things that I have that I've had for so many years and you can't get them anywhere else, but they're so good that I still like listening to. Most of them are more mindset stuff. It's really good stuff. So yeah. But he doesn't have that set up. And then Mary, she listens to one every other month. She has done that for the past 3 years. So 18, one every other month. She's listened to, and she's just constantly listening, a little bit each day. I remember our mentor told us once, I'll never forget this. They bought a new home. And this was back when there were CD players. So we're dating ourselves here. But his wife was like, oh, is that CD player going to really sit on the back of the commode at the new house? Like, I really just wanted to put like some really pretty flowers there. And he was like, honey, come here. And he walks her around the house. And he was like, do you see this house? And she says, yes. He said, the reason we have this beautiful new home is because of this listening I do every morning. And she's like, okay, the CD can the CD player can stay there. And so the point was that in the mornings while he's getting ready for work, which he doesn't even leave the house when he goes to work, in the mornings when he's getting out, brushing his teeth, combing his hair, washing his face, getting ready, he is listening to something, to a CD or listening to Audible or listening to something, maybe it's an app on your phone. So listening. And I think that's really, really important.
You can do that on your commute as well. It's a great time to do it.
Yeah.
So, and then let's talk about courses and events. Okay. We have people all the time. I can't afford to buy this course. I don't have time to go to this event. I'm telling you, if you're serious about making your business work, that is the biggest mistake you could ever make. And the reason we say that is because we've been there. We've been the people who said we can't afford that. We can't invest in that. I don't have time for that. And our business stayed stuck because of it, right? And so again, the same mentor taught us you should shoot for attending 4 events a year. And this was before there was really digital courses, okay? Now we say, you know, balance that between courses and events. You should attend some things that are for your personal company, and you should attend some generic stuff that's outside of your personal company. So we try to attend at least 2 generic events every year. Obviously, this year's been a little different. They've been virtual, but we've got a virtual event coming up in a couple of weeks with Ray Higdon. That's a generic virtual event that we will not miss because we make sure that we do that we do generic events every single year in addition to our company events and any courses that we're going through. We do a lot more now than we did back when we were getting started, but because we do have more time, right? But when we were first getting started and I was a full-time student, I had a full-time job, I still made sure to do 4 every single year. And, you know, they can't all be courses. Some of them need to be events. The energy is just different. What you're going to learn is totally different. What you'll take away from it is incredible. So Mary did that, right? During her 3 years, she went to 12 events. David, maybe he went to 1, right? Maybe he bought some course and didn't even go through it. Maybe he paid for a virtual event ticket and didn't actually sit down and watch it, right? Who knows? But that's the difference there between David and Mary. And now, well, let's talk about these income producing activities, right? Because we've talked a lot now about learning, but you got to back that learning up with action, right? And Mary, in our little example, absolutely did that. So how many people did Mary invite to look at her business over that 3-year period?
Yeah, these are invites or exposures. Sometimes some people call them exposures to the products or to the opportunity. Okay, it can be either or, depending on which one that you lead with or what the situation is for that prospect. Okay, Mary did 2,184 reach outs over the course of 3 years. Now you could do the math, figure that out, how many that was. She didn't do them all in one day.
In a week, you guys.
Yeah.
2 a day, 5 days a week. That's it. So easy.
Yeah, so easy. Where David, he didn't do any. He just kind of did his thing.
Social media posts up though, and he was hoping that some people would reach out, but they didn't. So
yeah. And then presentations. Okay, those 2,184 invites, those led to 468 presentations for Mary. So did everybody say yes? I can't wait to take a look. No. Did she let that discourage her? Maybe a little bit, but you know what? She didn't let it stop her. Okay. It's okay to be a little bummed when someone says no. I reached out to some people yesterday, asking them if they would help us to kind of spread the word about this Ray Higdon event that we're promoting. And guess what? I had several people very, very politely, thankfully, but politely decline. But guess what? I had some yeses, okay? And did I let the no's discourage me? No, guess what? It was so great to reconnect with those people. Some of those people I hadn't even spoken to. One guy I noticed, we had talked in other ways, but the last time we had exchanged a message in Messenger was 2011. And so, but yet we still had a conversation and we went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and really reconnected. And that was a wonderful thing. It was a wonderful thing. So,
Casper had a question. He said, can you do a post sometimes with the books that you guys read every year? Absolutely. We'll put that on the list of something to do. Also, we do have a full 12-month personal development plan all lined out for you guys inside Freedom University. So it's a bonus that we're really doing.
We have a blog post on that already on the books.
Yeah, I don't know if it's one of our updated ones, but we will get it out there for sure. So.
Yeah, we'll check on that. But that's it. We'll definitely get that done for you, Casper. And then personally sponsored. Okay, so Mary invited 2,184. 468 agreed to take a look. And guess how many she sponsored? Many, 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 many. Okay, many people. She's got this really nice business going. Guess how many David sponsored? 2. Can you sponsor 2 people in 3 years and build a business?
No. Yeah.
And the two were just by default. I mean, like,
Well,
yeah,
like maybe his mom signed up or his brother, right? Like it, which is great when you get that. That's always good. And sometimes you never know. Maybe they'll take off and build a big business, but it's not enough to build a big business. You've got to expand beyond that. And I think that's really what we're trying to get across here is that you've got to be actively learning and actively taking action. And that's what's going to determine your level of success.
yeah, I've had people say to me, well, I'm still active. I get my auto ship every month. Okay, that's not the kind of active we're talking about. Okay, that's active, meaning you're qualified to get paid according to the company. That's one of the requirements many times is to have that, you can't cancel your auto ship, or maybe you have so many customer sales, but it's the same ones month after month. Maybe that keeps you active. Every comp plan is different. But when we talk about active, we mean actively involved, meaning you're consistently remaining in the right activities over time. Okay. Yeah. You're consistent. And it can't be, you know what? I did it for 3 months and I didn't get the results I wanted. And so then I stopped for a month and then I started back for 3 weeks. Well, and then my little one got sick. And then I stopped no, it can't be this go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's consistently doing the right things. And you don't have to do a lot of it. Okay. And you don't have to spend 40 hours a week, but you need to be consistently involved. Okay. Consistently involved. And we even say, just doing the things that need to be done. And all those things are the things that we covered today.
Exactly. And I want to share, before we go on to kind of wrap this up, I want to share one more quote with you guys that I just have always found was really interesting. This is from a guy by the name of Bill Britt. He's one of the first Amway millionaires. Okay. So, Amway has been around years and years and years. It's one of the biggest companies. And he said, there is no secret to how I became successful. I simply showed the plan to 1,200 people. 900 said no. Only 300 showed up and watched my presentation. Of those 300, only 85 did anything at all. And out of those 85, only 35 were serious. And out of those 35, 11 made me a millionaire. Mm-hmm. And I love that quote because you don't have to have huge numbers to be successful in this business. But you might have to invite a lot of people to find the few who are going to help your business really grow, who are going to see the vision that you see, who are going to be motivated like you, who are going to be driven like you. And that's really what you're looking for, right? So, Mom, tell them about the freebie. This is such a cool little freebie. We touched on it a little at the beginning, but
yeah, I really wish we could like go through it with you guys, because it's a really cool, and like Jordan said earlier, it's one that we usually do on a napkin or maybe on a whiteboard, and maybe one day we can do that for you guys and you'll really enjoy it. But basically what this is it's an illustration on what our mentor told us years ago. It had such an impact. I remember when he got through, I went, oh my goodness. And he did this in an event. Okay. It's a big room and he was on a whiteboard up at the front. And he said, he drew this square. Okay. And I'm not going to go through this at all because I want you to go grab the freebie. The Be Here chart is what we refer to. It's really an illustration.
Be here, still actively involved, right? That's the illustration. So.
And the illustration is be here a year from now. Okay. Yep. So actively involved. Remember what actively involved means. It's actually doing the activities that we've talked about today. Okay. So you've got to commit to be here a year from now. And what happens is that he goes through on this chart, and what you're going to see, it's a square, and he draws a line across. And he goes, okay, a year from now, we're going to say that only half the people in this room that, you're at this big event, maybe it's a virtual event. Okay. And half the people in this room, they're going to have either left the company or they're just getting their products and using them, but they're not actively involved. They're not actually doing the work, but the other half's still there.
Okay? Well, and the room is the same size, or maybe it's gotten bigger, right? So that other half of the room filled in with all brand new people who weren't here a year ago, right? These are brand new people who've joined the business. Are they joining your team? If you're actively involved, yeah, some of them are. And so the illustration, I'll let you finish, but I wanted to point out the room doesn't get half the size a year from now.
No, not at all. It's just
going to an event and you talk about, oh man, remember Mary? She was here 2 years ago. I haven't seen her in a long time. I wonder what happened to her. She was so excited, right?
And one of the reasons I know that this illustration is so truthful, how many of you can drop it in the comments? This would be a really interesting thing to see, but I think that I already know the answer. But how many of you have been to an event and they ask you, if this is your first event, would you please stand up?
Right.
And how many people in that room stand up? A lot.
Yep.
A lot. And I remember another mentor the other day, this was just a few weeks back, posted a photo of the company he's with and kind of their launch, like when they first kind of launched. And they were in a meeting and he had this photo that he posted on Facebook. And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm looking at this photo and I'm seeing all these people, up on the first, second, third, fourth row and some people on stage. And he said, there's only 3 of us still here from this photo from 10 years ago. And this company has really grown. Where did everybody else go? Who knows?
Yep, exactly. So grab that freebie. It'll explain the illustration better than we can just talking about it. There's a good picture there. But question of the week, are you committed, right? This is really all it really comes down to. Are you committed to being here, still actively involved 1 year from now? And if you are, then you're in the right place. You're doing the right thing. Just remember, being actively involved means doing the work, right? And if you've been in this industry, you've been in your business for a year or 2 years or 3 years, and you're frustrated with your progress, really be honest with yourself. How consistently have you been doing the work, right? How consistently have you been showing up? How consistently have you been inviting? Have you been presenting? Have you been reading your personal development, listening to your audios, right? How consistently have you been doing that? Thank you guys for all your guesses. That's awesome. I love it. Susanna says, absolutely, which is perfect. Yes, absolutely. Got to say it with some enthusiasm, right? And so we're really excited that you guys hung out with us today. Those of you who are on live, if you're catching this on the day that we're recording it live, which is Wednesday, September 16th, make sure you join us over on Facebook tonight. We're going to be interviewing Ray Higdon over on our Global Freedom Community page and inside of our group, okay? He's going to be talking about the not 6, I don't know where I got 6. I just made that number up. Maybe he'll talk about 6 habits. Maybe he'll talk about 4. Maybe he'll talk about 2. I don't know. He's going to talk about the habits it takes to build a 6-figure business. There we go. And so it's going to be amazing. We're very, very honored that Ray has agreed to come in and do an interview with our group, with our community. And so show up live. We're going to be giving away lots of live prizes, which we don't usually do because we know a lot of people like to catch replays. But tonight, we want you to be there live because we want Ray to just see how grateful we all are that he's taken the time out of his incredibly busy schedule to do this free training for us. It's brand new, never before seen training. You're going to love it. So definitely come hang out with us tonight at 8:30 Eastern on the Global Freedom Community Facebook page. And if you're over on YouTube, the link to that page is in the description below. So, all right, you guys, thanks for being with us today. Have an amazing rest of your day. We'll see you guys tonight, and we'll talk soon. All right, bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.